Hey there, kids. What's going on? And welcome to Kicker Rocks Podcast, 2 Drink Minimum. This is episode number 12. And unfortunately, your old pal Bill was a little under the weather for this one, so I was not present, but not to fear. Sergio, Tony, JT, and Joe picked up the reins, and I'm a little jealous. I'm not going to lie. They had a great topic for this episode. Binge-Worthy Shows. You know, we live in an age where your favorite shows are a download and a click away, and you can watch them back to back to back without any commercials. You know, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, take your pick. Any of those. What are your favorite binge-worthy shows nowadays? Let's hear what the guys had to say. Sit back, relax, have a drink with us, and enjoy.
All right, boys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Me and Tony always forget. We're always clanking last.
Hey, there it is.
There you go. There's your
It's
clank.
a two-hit combo.
Welcome to 2 Drink Minimum, everybody. I'm Joe, and with me we have...
I'm Tony.
Sergio.
James. Thomas.
Malloy!
So, missing today is our friend Bill.
The fearless podcast leader
Yeah.
at times.
Who decided to be sick.
He decided... He made a decision for the illness.
Well,
It's choice to
Bad
be ill.
choice, Bill. I thought, right?
Bad choice, Bill.
It's good that he's sick because I am sick and tired of Bill.
Well, then that's perfect.
Right?
You know what he's probably doing, too, with his sick time is what we're going to talk about today, which is binging. And today's Kicker Rock 2 Drink Minimum, what are we binging, fellas?
Alcohol.
That's
Not binge drinking,
Oh.
binge watching. Cool.
So what's everybody binging right now?
I don't know who wants to take a stab at this first.
All right, I'll go. I'm gonna go with a Netflix show that just released the second season, and my wife and I, Jess, we just binged the second season of the Santa Clarita Diet, and it was pretty good. It was fun.
I want to watch that. I just have yet to get started on it. So
Did you watch the first season?
no, I haven't watched it at all.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's fun. It's basically without spoiling anything. I don't know who's watched it and who hasn't. It's Drew Barrymore, Timothy Olyphant, and they're a couple, and they're these realtors, and she gets some sort of virus, dies, comes back as the undead, and she's craving human flesh. So it's like a zombie TV show that's set up in everyday California life, and comedy and death ensues.
I was just gonna say, like, to be clear, it is a comedy, though.
Yes, it is.
And I feel like you wouldn't give too much away describing it, considering I've read the description and
Sure.
watched a little trailer on Netflix. They tell you flat out.
The trailer shows her like mauling somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's not a big secret when
No.
you're getting into the show what it's about or what she's doing.
Yeah.
So, but it looks like what I've seen of it just in the little clips that they show and stuff. It looks hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's pretty funny. Honestly, we finished it last night, and we ran through like 6 episodes on Sunday and blitzed through them, and we're like, oh my god, like that's 3 hours. I think they're half-hour episodes, and it's like, how did we do that? And then we ran through the other ones. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's easy to watch. It's fun. It's just fun. We were watching it last night, and literally, I'm just laughing out loud. And I'm like, Timothy Olyphant's so funny in this. His comedic timing, and like, he normally plays the tough guy, the sheriff, the just like the badass.
Psychopathic computer hacker. He was the villain in Die Hard 4.
That's right, the worst Die Hard.
That wasn't the worst. The fifth one
No,
was
the fifth one was really bad. Four isn't that bad.
I liked 4.
But he always plays like more of this tough guy, and in this, he is just this husband realtor that is along for the ride and just trying to cope with what's happening. And like, he's really funny. He's got some of the best bits. So yeah, definitely worth a watch. Like it's hard to not binge things now the way that they come out.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we grew up at a time where you were so used to
You wait a week.
and you can't even record it. You know what I mean? You wait a week, and when it came on, I mean, I guess some people could do it because they had the VCRs that recorded properly, and mine
the
never
timer.
did. Yeah, mine never did. But now everything's out, and it's just kind of like, oh, we've got the entire season here. It's hard not to. Like, I always tell myself, I'm going to break it up so I'm not waiting a year to watch this again, and I never do. and just run through it.
I've actually done that recently. Amanda and I have with the second season, or the third season of The Detour on TBS. It came out, and we kind of just forgot that it had premiered. And then it was like, oh man, we got to catch up. And then we would watch it in like 3 and 4 episode spurts to the point now where I think we're like 1 episode behind now. We've kind of caught up, but
dude, the first season of that show is unbelievable.
Oh, it's
so funny. If you guys haven't watched the Detour,
No.
I can't remember the wife's name.
no, but she's been in a bunch.
Well,
of
she was
stuff.
in Justified with
She was
Timothy
in
Olyphant, who
Yep.
was also Santa Clarita Diet.
Right.
But the first season of the Detour is so funny, and then I felt like 2 was just okay, and then this season 3 is like kind of redeeming what season 2 was.
It's definitely bounced back.
Yeah. Season 1 is so
pretty-
good. If you guys
yeah.
get a chance to watch that, it's a great show.
Yeah.
And it's another quick binge. Sorry.
Natalie Zaya, Zaya,
I don't know. But
That's
she's
her
great
name.
in it, and she's really funny.
and then he's Jason James. He's actually writer and creator of the show as well.
Yeah, is he married? What's that lady's name? Catherine B? Or
Samantha B.
Samantha B. I don't know if they're married, but they're together.
But they're definitely they are
They're both
credited
producers.
as creators
Yeah.
of the show. But it's hilarious. So definitely check that out if you haven't watched it yet. You can binge it
Yeah.
at this point.
It's an easy one.
Yeah.
That's a TBS one where it's just kind of like, because it's basic cable, they're getting away with more than you would get on like a network show, but not
Yeah.
as much as you would get on a Netflix show.
Right.
But it's still pretty goddamn funny. Like, it's great.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I guess I binge a lot of stuff now. I didn't realize
you
you
binge
said
more than-
that.
I
and
think
it's
you
like,
binge more than you
man.
think we do. Like,
Well,
at
I'm
this point.
domesticated now. I don't go out drinking 6 nights a week, and it's easier to come home and have dinner with my wife and then sit down on the couch and watch something.
Right.
So yeah, but not to get too sidetracked, but yeah, that's where I'm at. Santa Clarita Diet. If you haven't watched it yet, check it out, man. It's definitely worth watching.
I definitely want to see it, and I remember, now that you brought up the premise of it, I remember you were talking about it before, and I just haven't had a chance. So
Yeah.
to confirm, it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
And it's
on
season
Netflix.
2?
Yeah, there's 2 seasons that are ready to go
Are
now.
Are you saying
Sounds so
died or diet?
Diet.
Diet.
It is diet.
Santa
okay.
Clarita died
Is it like they have to feed
from
her?
the diet.
Right.
Yeah, it's it's pretty good, pretty funny. So yeah, that's me. Who's going next?
I'll go unless one of you guys want to jump in.
You can
Go
go.
for it, go for it.
Joe Mono.
So, in addition to just mentioning my I guess breakup binge watching of The Detour, Sneaky Pete on Amazon Prime
Yes.
has been
Love
one that I've been like it was brought to my attention. I can't even remember now. Somebody recommended it to me, so I watched the first season, and I'm pretty sure I watched it in like 2 or 3 nights, just 4 hours at a time,
Yeah.
just blowing through it.
They're hour-long episodes, right?
Yeah.
And I think the first season was only like 10 episodes.
10
I
or
think.
12.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
easy
10
enough.
episodes. Yeah, so it was one of those like on a weekend I didn't have a lot going on. I just blasted through watching them, and I loved it. I loved everything about the characters and like just even the plot line of the story. Are you guys familiar with it at all?
No.
As far as I remember seeing a trailer, like it's Giovanni Ribisi's the main guy.
Yep.
And he gets out of prison and takes over somebody else's identity.
Yeah, his prison cellmate.
Okay. All right.
And because his cellmate was telling all the stories about his grandparents' farm and the farmhouse and his cousins and all these great stories. So when he got out, he wanted to go there as a way to kind of lay low and hide. He was hiding, basically.
He was hiding out because before he went to jail, he did a robbery.
He actually went
and
to
he
jail
owed
on
money.
purpose. Yeah.
He owed money because of his previous crime. So that's why he needed.
It wasn't
to
a
hide.
crime. He's a con man.
Yeah.
So his previous con, he was conning another criminal out of a bunch of money, and he went and got himself arrested intentionally. So he could go to jail and be protected. So now when he got out, he had to lay low and hide.
And that was a small spoiler alert because I don't think they let you know that in the first. Like it's
I
not until like the
thought
fourth.
they did.
Not the fact that it was like he
That it was
he
an
conned the
intentional-
con,
Right,
or that it was an intentional.
I thought they did
Yeah.
though. I
So,
thought you kind of learned that
I
early.
can't remember. Yeah,
I thought you
maybe
learned
did.
it pretty early.
All right, I'll stand down.
Here's what
I'll
I keep
stand
wondering, and without giving too much away, like, does he look like his cellmate, or has the family of the cellmate not seen him in so
hadn't-
long?
Exactly.
They hadn't seen him in like
since he was like 9 or
since he was
something.
9
like
or
that.
10 years
so
old.
wait, he went to jail when he was
No,
9 or, okay.
no. Him and his mom, his cellmate and his mom left town.
Okay, that makes more sense because I kept.
There
I
was
haven't watched it yet.
there was
and I
a
kept
family
wondering.
falling out.
Okay.
They left town, so now this is some 20 years or so later. They hadn't seen him in so long that they wouldn't know what he looked like.
Right.
Okay.
And he just becomes fully embedded in this family and works in the family business, but meanwhile still has his whole other life that's
so
going
he's still
on and
counting
dealing
the whole
with.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
this
'cause,
take
like-
place in the same universe as Nickelodeon's Pete versus Pete?
It does not.
All right.
Because that would be
don't think.
sneaky.
I'm not
That would be
familiar
really
with
sneaky.
Nickelodeon's
That would be-
Pete versus Pete. but-
Oh man, it's Pete. It's
Dance
starring Pete and Pete's
Petunia.
brother Pete.
Dance Petunia. That's all I can remember.
Was it Pete and Pete? Or that was Pete. Yeah.
No, it's
No,
The
Pete-
Adventures
Pete-
of Pete and Pete.
Adventures of Pete
Starring
and
Pete,
Pete. That's right,
Pete's
yeah.
brother Pete.
It was the two
and-
brothers
and
that were
Ellen.
actually brothers, and
And Ellen. Introducing
So
you.
how do
Yeah.
we binge that show, guys? Like,
I don't think you can.
I feel like Pete and Pete's one of those things that you watch as a kid that I don't know if this is for sure, but like only had one season, but it feels like that there was way more than
Because
that.
Nickelodeon just kept running it over and
Yeah.
over and over.
That's like, dude, how many
That's a
seasons
podcast.
did what was Camp Anawana? How many seasons
Hey,
did
that was
Salute Your
Hey
Shorts? No, Salute Your
Salute Your
Shorts.
Shorts. I was thinking that
Hey Dude came on afterwards.
after Salute Your Shorts, or was it before?
I
Salute
can't
Your Shorts?
remember, but
I don't know.
neither
Nickelodeon Shows podcast.
Hey
coming
Dude was
soon.
a terrible show.
I'm pretty sure Roundhouse had 33 seasons.
What is Roundhouse?
Well, yeah, what are you talking about? Can we
That
get?
was like their SNL.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was all that. Who did all that?
Wasn't there?
That's
oh yeah,
also-
that was.
are you
Nickelodeon.
still talking
too.
about Nickelodeon? I was that weird kid who grew up without cable.
Dude,
Like the family
okay.
who didn't have
All right,
any.
where's
I
the
can
bucket- where's the
remember.
bucket of slime for
I can remember
Sergio?
as a kid,
Look what I've
we never
done.
had cable. Ever had cable. And one day, a cable guy came to the house, and I can remember my mom talking to him for a long
to
time
be
at
a
the front
cable-
door. Cable boy. And all of a sudden, like, it must have been a really good deal because we don't come from money. You know what I mean? I never wanted anything, but like. I always wanted Nickelodeon, and I always wanted cable because all my friends had it. And I can remember when the guy left, we had like signed up for a cable plan, and I could just remember screaming like, "I'm gonna get Nickelodeon!" Like I was so excited about getting Nickelodeon.
You nerd.
It was totally, but like I was so excited as a little kid.
gotta-
Like
he's
I was
gotta get
finally
that
getting.
Double Dare.
It was the double. That was the main thing.
Double
like,
Dare
you wanted
was
to watch.
awesome.
You wanted to watch Double Dare.
Double Dare was awesome.
Wild and Crazy Kids.
Wild and crazy kids.
I think I was too old for Nickelodeon by the time you guys were getting into it. So,
Wait, how far apart are we?
what, 3-4 years?
How old
4
are you?
years? I'm gonna be 38 next month.
38 next month, Joe Mono.
I'm 36. You should have seen.
I'm still not
You
as old
can't
as
do that on
Sergio.
television
Oh yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Sergio was a you can't do that on television kid, and we were watching.
no, he wasn't.
Hey,
he didn't
dude.
have cable.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, so what are we
They didn't
binging,
have
guys?
cable
Not
when I was
Nickelodeon shows, but what are we binging?
What are we binging?
So
All
we
right.
were talking about Sneaky Pete. At
Yes.
this point, I'm just gonna.
Is Bryan Cranston a
Recommend.
producer or a director?
Yes.
Okay.
He's an executive producer, and I believe he was maybe created, helped write it, something.
Okay.
I'll confirm that.
I'm not sure.
But it's a great show. I highly recommend it.
It's an Amazon Prime original.
It is an Amazon Prime
you
original.
need a
They've
Prime
got a
account.
couple of good ones I'm going to jump into. I think I've got some lined up I've heard about that I should binge as well. Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
So good.
Is it?
It's
really?
so good. It's so good.
I see that every time I'm
I've heard great
scrolling.
things
Like
about it.
I haven't heard anyone else talk about it, so I've been waiting. It's like, dude, it's really good. Like he does such a good job making fun of himself and just putting it out there, and like it's really good. It's fun and stupid and like
I pass
yeah.
it up every single
Dude.
time I'm trying to find something. I'm like,
Dude,
I
you
don't
take
know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme
You know,
and say
I
that
have
he's
to-
been a secret agent this whole time, posing as an actor, like awesome. Yeah,
There was another one.
It's like it's just stupid and fun. Like it's good. It's totally worth watching.
There's another one I'm going to have to find maybe while one of you guys are talking. There's another Amazon.
Prime?
There's another
Okay.
Prime show that I just came across.
Oh, Man in the High
just
Castle
started- I've
is
heard that's
another.
fantastic too. But
That's an interesting
I watched the
one.
first episode and I wasn't into it, but
It gets better, and
Does
it
it?
took a weird twist this last season. And I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm kind of like, wait, what? Now this is a completely different type of show. Like they literally 180'd. Like it's interesting.
other than that,
Do I
watched,
like everything?
Yes,
know,
I think
maybe
you
you
do.
do.
I don't
you do.
think so, because there's a lot of garbage out there too. But like,
Name the garbage.
You're just picking the gems. I'm not
Right.
gonna.
I mean, we
rat
just pick,
anybody
we
out.
pick good television, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
guess so.
The Office has been my late night binge.
There you
like
go.
on like weeknights or
Yeah.
like work nights. If I'm
That's
going
a
to
good
sleep,
one.
I just throw off The Office on. I'll watch 2 or 3 episodes as I'm falling asleep.
Can never get into that shit.
You know what happened?
Oh,
is-
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like
should-
it's
you should.
objectively a good show, but it hits too close to home. Like I think that
You
the
hate
guy-
things that hit too close to home.
I do.
You get anxiety while you're sitting on the
No,
couch.
it's like the guy,
too real.
the guy who plays Michael. Like he's too close to like a sociopathic
boss.
weirdo of a boss. You know that just kind of like makes you feel weird at work. You know, like I don't know. And I just feel like the type of OMG awkward humor or something like it maybe just isn't for me.
Sure.
Like I've watched seasons of the show. I've tried. You know, and it's like I recognize its quality objectively, but it's not my flavor, you know?
Right.
So
And I think that's with everybody. And I mean, there's, Jess can't stand Seinfeld, and I love it. But I think it's just,
that doesn't even make sense.
it
That's
doesn't.
horrible.
But,
Yeah.
you hear that, Jess?
You
That's
don't make
awful.
sense, Jess.
But, like, some stuff for some people and some stuff isn't.
So what I have observed about JT through these podcasts is when he really dislikes something or hates something, his number one reason is because it hits too close to home.
Yeah.
It could be the worst piece of crap ever, but that's not the number one reason. It hits too close to home. Is the
What
reason
was it?
number
Was
one.
it
That in A Christmas Story.
Christmas Story? Yeah, that was the Christmas Story, yeah.
You said that about.
It's
I
real.
believe you
It's
said
too
that about
real.
Christmas Vacation too.
No, I love Christmas Vacation.
Okay, all right.
Christmas
that's
Story
right.
was too
Christmas Story
real.
for
It was
sure.
too real for him.
Too real.
That's the story.
Okay, so we've been going all over the place here on this one.
Yeah, it's still binges, though.
So
These are all
yeah,
binges.
These are all binges. There's tons of binges. You could. I mean, I remember binge watching Breaking Bad because I had not ever watched Breaking Bad, and then it was finally like I'd heard so much about it that I binge watched the first 3 seasons in like a week, so I could catch up and be ready to watch the 4th
new
season
ones.
premiere.
I was a teacher and had a meth lab, so that just hits too.
Too close to home, boy.
That's great.
Over here.
That was awesome.
So I guess that means it's your turn.
Oh, it's my shit, man. I'm so
What are you binging?
I'm binging old things. I'm binging 30 Rock.
Awesome.
My girlfriend Laura had never seen 30 Rock. I was like, we got in a discussion one day about, actually, it was about The Office and how we both didn't like it. And like, just like the style of humor and stuff. I said the same things I said here. I'm like, yeah, it's just not my flavor, all that stuff. And then she's like, yeah, that's why I could never watch like 30 Rock. And I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute.
That's not the
Hold
same.
on.
That's not the same at all.
Like, no. You're going to watch this. So now she's loving it. So
Awesome.
Because she thought it was like some office comedy that had like the, people talking to the screen kind of faux documentary thing and all
right.
that with the snap zooms and all that shit. But like, no, I tried to explain to her. It's like, no, this is Saturday Night Live behind Saturday Night Live, and it's just goofy, and they just go for cartoony shit sometimes,
Yeah.
And it's witty as hell. So
Yeah.
I love revisiting it. It's such a great show.
Dude, I binged the hell out of that. Like, I
Yeah.
had never watched it, and then Sergio was always talking about quoting it. Then you guys were always talking about it.
I think
and
I
I
mentioned
started,
that.
and I just, like, ran through it. And I think I've said this on another podcast. Like, I was so sad when I was done. I was
Well, I
just
think
like,
I
wait.
mentioned, I mentioned this on like Guilty Pleasures. I think when I was saying like that's like my go-to. I'm going to sleep. I'm just gonna put something on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you just watch it because like every episode's so good.
I know.
Like,
I was
the
watching
puns,
all
the
again.
jokes, the writing, everything's just like phenomenal. The characters are great.
I remember.
I'm glad Laura's liking it too.
Oh, yeah.
Like you turned her around. Good job,
that's
JT.
great. she just didn't know what it was, I guess,
Yeah.
So, but like, I noticed that show. It has a similar like kind of trajectory quality wise as Scrubs had, where it was like the first 4 seasons are like just amazing, perfect, and then it's like 5, 6, and 7. Well, Scrubs went to 8 or 9 or something, but it was like then somewhere around 5 or 6 it started to get like a little, just a teaspoon too cartoony, like a teaspoon too parody of itself or something. You know what I mean? Like Liz Lemon went from like a kind of awkward, believable-ish weirdo to just like all-out wacky weirdo,
Right.
But like not to the point that it's distracting, because like the good things about it are still present, like, and it's still just amazing. It's just something you notice if you watch it all in a row, I guess.
Yeah.
But I still love the whole thing, and I can't wait till we get to the end, because the last episode of 30 Rock, and I've said this before, is the most satisfying conclusion to a TV show I've ever seen. I don't know.
I'm
I
trying to
thought so.
remember
Yeah,
now
see,
you got me thinking like
I can't remember.
how
I
was the
can't
last
remember how it
episode?
ended.
Spoiler alerts.
Yes, right.
It's coming.
Fast forward this part.
It's coming.
This is when
Yeah.
Jack rolls away on the boat, and he's
Yes.
he's about to like change his life around. And then he's like, no,
I figured it
I just
out."
thought of a new microwave, you know. And he comes back, and he,
love that.
he gets to be the president of GE or whatever. And then like,
I forgot about
forgot
that.
about
and then whatchamacallit, like, there was a running plot line through the whole show where
Kenneth being running
Tina
the company.
Fey,
Oh,
Liz Lemon was like trying to adopt a kid, you know. And when she finally does adopt kids, they're like two little Jenna. It's like a little Jenna and a little Tracy Jordan. He was like, "Are you gonna help me feed my lizard or something?" You know, like and stuff like that. She's like, "I'm home," you know, and gives them both hugs. And then Kenneth, who like they had hinted through the whole show, was like, you know, somebody's like, "Well, it's not like you're gonna live forever." Who said that I was gonna live forever? You know what I mean? So it's like they never said his age.
Right.
And then at the end, they show him as the president of NBC with a bunch
Which-
of flying cars in the background.
which do you remember? First season. I want to say it's episode 2 or 3. I think it is 2, where Jack finds out that they play poker after hours, and he joins them. And Kenneth, he can't read Kenneth because Kenneth is so just like whatever.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of that episode, Jack says, and this is like season 1, episode 2 or 3. Jack says, "We are either gonna die by. He's either gonna run the company, or we're all gonna die by his hand." And it's just like, I love the fact that they called that statement
back.
back
Yeah.
for the very last episode.
Yeah, they
So,
slowly brought it up a couple
Yeah.
other times.
It's very similar to what we talked about with the ending of Seinfeld.
Yeah, or it's that
a
callback
few episodes ago. Yeah,
line.
the callback line and bringing it all back.
Yeah, I
Pretty
love.
cool.
It's a great show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
It's
good,
nice
so
one,
good, so
dude.
good.
There
Yeah,
was
It's a good binge.
That's a quick aside. Laura's the one she's making me binge is Doctor Who, and I made it sound like she's making me, but I literally said she's making me.
I'm
I'm making it sound like exactly what I just said.
Clockwork Orange. She's got those eyelid things going. She's dripping water into your eyes.
The
So
show
you-
she's sharing with me as I've shared 30 Rock with her. I said Kick Rock.
Aw.
No, I've shared that too. But
I make people watch Kick Rock sketches.
oh yeah, definitely. When I'm drunk and there's a YouTube available, why not? You know.
Yeah,
right.
Or it was like 3 a.m. You know.
Watch
you're
what
like,
me and my friends did.
Yeah, whoever's left at a party when I'm drunk at 3 a.m.
Is
They're
watching Kick
getting
Rock.
watching Kick
They're
Rock.
watching Kick Rock for sure.
Check
Kick Rock.
out this one has a toaster. That's my favorite. But he's like, no, she showed me Doctor Who, the newer one, the 2005 upwards. So I've seen like the Christopher Eccleston first season. I have a huge crush on Billie Piper, by the way, and she knows it, and she's cool with it. And we're halfway through like David Tennant's first season now. So what I like about that show is it reminds me of like old comic books and stuff where it's like they just go for it, you know. It's like the
completely.
genres jump all over the place, and like it's so wacky and cheesy, but it rolls with it, you know.
It's also super heartfelt too,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
get intimate and you kind of dedicate yourself to it and just fall right into it, man.
Yeah.
Like it's super cool. I'm a big fan of the newer ones. I wasn't when I first heard they were doing the new ones. I was like, oh, that's stupid. And I used to watch the old ones with my dad. That's a memory I have, like staying up late and watching them on Channel 11. But like, I can remember being like, oh, this is just another, reboot, and this is going to be dumb. So I didn't watch it for years. And then Tom McMahon was like, dude, you should probably watch them if you're an old fan. They tie in stuff from the original
Yeah.
and loop it into the plot line for this because it's the same doctor, even though it's different doctors, it's still him.
Yeah.
And I start watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really, really good. So, like, I binged the hell out of that. Then I stayed up with it, and then I haven't watched the last, I want to say 3 seasons. The girl who cuts my hair is a big fan of Doctor Who.
I've seen a couple of the Capaldi ones, the older guy.
Yeah. She's got a TARDIS tattoo and everything. She was just telling me, she's like, all right, so what season did this happen? Yeah, did this happen? I'm like, no. She's like, okay, so you're 3 seasons behind. You need to start watching it again. But it's really good, man. Like, it's smart writing. It's fun. Like you said, they really go for it. They're not scared to try something new or, kind of come off the rails once in a while. It's good.
Yeah, and
So
it's
my main-
British, so they don't dumb it down. The wit
No.
is witty.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anything. I love British television. First of all, that's awesome. But my question is, this show's been on for decades. Like, how long's it
Right.
been
It's
on
kinda
now?
since, like,
50
the
years?
late 60s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
60s.
we're 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, this has been a long time
But
running
it
show,
had- there was
on and off.
Yeah,
Long break.
it was a
there was
really
a very,
long break.
There was a very long break, right? In like the 90s and into, you said it was 2005, right? Where's
Yeah.
it when they started it up again, and that's where you picked it up at?
I don't even think it was playing in the 90s at all.
No,
I think
okay.
it was like a solid 20-year break or 25-year break or
I think they
something.
made
So
some
maybe it
like,
was
But the
more
fact
of a,
that
a
they-
TV
reboot.
movie or something. Like
Yeah,
in the
was it a
80s.
reboot or just like, let's continue this adventure?
No, it's continued.
It's
So here's the
continued.
thing about Doctor Who is like, and this is no spoiler because if you looked at anything, you realize there's different actors playing the Doctor over
Right.
the years. Is that he changes. He's still him, even though he's not him, but he's different every.
He has all his same memories, but
Few
he, like,
seasons.
He like can only change like what was it, 11 or 12 times or something before he actually dies.
Yeah.
So
So the fact that he changes actors is part of the storyline?
Yes, and it's so cool.
Oh, that's actually really,
Dude,
really cool.
it's really cool, and like, it's part of the plot line because they'll reference it, or they'll bring something back, or they'll be like, I don't want to give anything away for you because you're watching it right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
but like they literally intertwine things from like the episodes from the 70s
Oh,
into
wow.
these new episodes, and it's like
one of his old
it's-
companions was in it.
yeah, it's like, how did you guys figure that out? Or with the newer ones, like let's say something from 2006, there was a plot line that looped back into like 2011, and it's like, how did you guys? How?
Right.
What made you plant this seed back then and then bring it up now? Like
Yeah.
it's good.
Okay, so
Yeah,
to
I fell
answer-
off a few years ago though.
Answer the length, the running time or
Yeah.
length of time from 1963 to 1989, 26 seasons
Wow.
plus one film
Wow.
in 1996.
Oh.
Then came back in 2005 and is now 10 seasons in.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's kind of like the new Star Trek stuff, like the Abrams Star Trek.
Oh,
where it's
yeah,
like
okay.
The aesthetic and all that stuff is a little bit different. It's a little more modern, but like it technically is tied to the old continuity.
Yeah.
840 episodes in that first run, 276 stories.
So is this technically
And this new run.
This has to be the longest running television show ever then, because like I used to think The Simpsons was, because Simpsons is going on to what, like 20, 28, 29
Yeah, despite
seasons.
everybody's cries.
Nice.
Very true. But it's still, I mean, I guess I don't even know where to go with the genre elements, but like, because I know there's been television shows, like news shows that have run for a long, long time. But,
Right.
Yeah, but dude, this is a long run. Granted,
Yeah.
there was breaks, but like
Right. But no, just
Well,
that
some of the
first
old
run,
episodes
26
don't even
seasons,
exist
that's
anymore.
a lot.
Some of the old episodes don't even exist anymore.
There, it says, I'm reading here, there's 97 missing episodes.
Yeah.
Holy
Just
cow.
one.
Like
Wow.
they aired them, and then there was no tape. Like they
They're
didn't tape them, or there was no tape.
never
of
be
them.
seen again. One time airing. It is technically the longest running weekly television show. And Tony might want to punch me when I say this.
not at all. I don't know.
WWE Monday Night Raw.
Oh, gross.
It is by episode count.
Oh wait, what's their statement? WWE is the longest running?
Monday Night Raw is the longest running currently longest running weekly episodic show.
What did that
There's an
say?
episode every week. They just had their 25th anniversary back in January. So it's the longest. I
consecutive-
think it's
consecutive, yeah.
Oh, the most episodes.
Consecutive.
Okay, all right, gotcha. I was like, but you said that ran for 26, but yeah, that makes sense then.
Right, and apparently, yeah, it's got more episodes. It's 52 episodes a year of Raw, so
Yeah.
they don't take a break.
That's not TV.
But anyway,
That's just nonsense.
shall we continue?
Dick Stokes, you hearing this?
Nice. I don't think he
I
listens.
never
to
got
us.
into wrestling.
Dude, I
think
know
it's
it's
fun-
good.
I think it's funny.
The last time you mentioned
Never
Dick, by the
could.
way, I told him about it, and he just made some kind of grumble. So I don't think he listens to us.
I just love the announcers. You know, every time something goes crazy, they're like, "What? What? Oh my god! Did I just do that?" You know.
Where did he get that chair from? Yeah, you saw him. He pulled it out from under the, I was going to say stage. The ring. It's a stage. Dude,
hey.
good call on Doctor Who, man.
Yeah. So, real quick, I found the other Prime show that I
Oh.
binged. I finally remembered what it was. It's called Mad Dogs. There's only one season of it, and it was a remake of a British show. And it's about a group of guys that travel to Belize to see an old friend when things take an unexpectedly dark turn. And yes, without question, it is very dark and weird and twisted, but also is pretty funny. It's got
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane, Michael Imperioli, Steve Zahn.
That is the first Prime show I ever watched.
Steve
Jess and I randomly started it. We watched all but 2 episodes. Something happened and we fell off. Either it wasn't launched yet or whatever it was. We never watched it. And every now and then we bring it up like, oh, we should finish that show. But we just don't. It was just like, we didn't finish it, so don't spoil. If you've watched it,
No, obviously you've watched enough of it to know it's crazy. Like
it's dark as heck.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, it's super dark.
But it was originally a British show that aired for 4 seasons, and
Okay.
they put it all into
1
10
season.
episodes, 1 season. And one of those guys, the guy that played Joel, Ben Chaplin, was in the original version as well.
Yeah,
But
there is a British actor.
It is
That
a
makes
Prime
sense.
show. It was released in 2015,
Oh wow.
so it was probably one of the first Prime
feel like it
shows.
One of
was,
the earlier
yeah.
Prime.
Yeah, so that was one that I think I
those
watched.
British
Dude, there's
shows,
so
man.
many platforms now, man. Like,
Yeah.
and you know what? To
Yeah.
your point, what you just said, those British shows, like, you know, the U.S. takes a lot of British shows and reboots
Dude.
them or changes them.
The
like
original
you said,
Office.
The Office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another and then Ricky Gervais, like he came up with The Office, but then like you guys gotta watch his show Extras. Like that show is
him
hilarious.
with the little person?
No,
Is there a little person in
no.
there? I thought he did something with a dwarf.
It's literally it's a really funny sitcom that he did with the BBC, and it's basically like the life of extras on BBC shows.
Nice.
And it's only like I want to say it's only like 2 seasons, so you can like binge it pretty quickly. It's on Netflix, but God, is it hilarious! Yeah, but it's like from all the perspective of the extras that work on these TV shows of like big budget shows on BBC, and they're just like these background characters. And they just like basically like give them make them the characters. It's great.
I never watched Downton Abbey, but isn't that what it is? Where Downton Abbey's like the maids and the side characters. It's all about their life.
Well, yeah. Well, so like throughout the seasons, like because he's an extra, he gets various parts in different shows, and there are like episodes where he is an extra, where he's just playing like somebody in the background of a Downton Abbey show. Like so, it's just a really funny view of like the life of an extra.
I love when they do
on a
stuff like
TV
that.
show set,
Right.
and so it's like
You see
it's
a
great.
totally different perspective
Yeah.
from something else where it's like, you always wonder like when you're watching something, it's like a character comes into a scene for a second and they're gone. It's like, well, wait, what about him? Like, what's the rest of his
What's
day
that
like?
person doing? Yeah,
Where's he going? He got his coffee, and what's going on with the rest
Yeah.
of his day?
yeah.
That's what I thought was clever about Harold and Kumar. They did that in that movie. It's like you're like following the white dudes at the beginning, like it's their movie. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
it goes back to him, you know, and you follow him instead.
Nice.
That's
The
great.
movie's got layers, I swear.
All right, so
We got a little off. Yeah,
I guess that brings us to
Yeah,
Sergio.
it's-
Sergio, what are you binging?
So I'm like, you know how you have those moments of like you binged a show and now you're like in this in between.
Yes.
Like what do I watch? So recently I subscribed to Hulu, and I was actually very excited to see that they have that I'm able to watch the newest seasons of X-Files. So literally over the past couple weeks, I binged through all of the most current episodes of X-Files.
Nice.
Which, for me, growing up in a household that didn't have cable, I was stuck with watching television shows. And in the 90s, being a 90s kid, high schooler kid, X-Files was the greatest. Like, I loved that TV show. Like, I looked forward to watching it on Thursday nights. Like, it was phenomenal. So, I was so glad to see that they rebooted it last year with season 10. They just got done, I want to say they just got done with season 11 last Sunday, was it? Or 2 Sundays ago?
Yeah, it just
Yeah, that
recently,
was the
finale.
it just recently finished.
The
the fact that
finale.
you could remember that it was Thursday nights says a lot.
That's
like,
impressive.
You
Yeah.
that.
Simpsons used to be that too.
When they were coming out
Thursday
with,
nights was that night to show. Because I remember.
Thursday nights was the night for everything.
Yeah, because I remember
Back
I was
then.
a big Quantum Leap fan back then too.
dude, I was
wanna say that
just
I think it
watching the
was
trailer
NBC.
for the Quantum Leap movie today. I was like,
Whoa!
man,
They're making
Stop.
a movie?
no, there was a movie. It was like a made-for-TV movie
Oh,
that
God,
was like
you're
the
so-
follow-up. No,
you got
come
me
on.
really excited.
Yeah.
I'm like, Sam.
Dude, that's kind of another one. Spoiler for a Kick Rock
Scott
sketch.
Bakula.
I kind of want to
Scott
reshoot
Dracula.
that. I
Scott
want
Dracula.
I
Exactly.
want to reshoot that intro too with us. But I was
my
thinking,
God, that
I was
would be
thinking
great.
Quantum Sheep, where each time he just appears into another sheep's body. Sorry, listeners, but
Yeah.
what goes on in my mind? That was a bad
that's great.
idea, guys. Okay.
Wow.
that's
All
really
right,
good.
turn his mic off.
But yeah, so I just binged. I literally just got done binging through the recent season.
This is the second new season, right?
Yeah, second new season,
Right.
which is technically season 11. I had fun with it. I like Tony. You and I talked about
Yeah.
this. They did a great job of doing the. Anyone who watched X-Files, you knew there was a formula where it's like you got the main story, which was like the whole like alien story, and you know
That was, like,
the
basically
abductions and everything.
The arc that was running through the whole
They
season.
ran through all like the entire show, but then you'd get these like middle episodes where you'd always had one that was very hokey and funny and crazy and kooky.
Dude, I'm so glad they stuck to that because
Yeah.
those were some of the best. It was like, here's a moment of levity, and here's a moment of like Mulder and Scully just being human and having fun
Exactly.
and not too serious.
Right.
And like, dude, they nailed that this
Yeah.
season. Like
Yeah.
that episode was. We talked about it earlier. It was
yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. And so you guys,
without
I don't know if
giving
you
too
guys
much away.
watched it or ever watched the
No.
show. It was just
Not
it was
too
a
much.
random show where they brought in this like character of another FBI agent who had claimed to be like working alongside Mulder and Scully since the beginning. So the fun thing they did in this episode is they redid all of the like
Original opening.
the original opening, but they
With
photoshopped
Put him
in there?
into it
Yeah.
and gave him the credit as an actor that's
Yeah.
in the show. Like it was
that's
like
hilarious.
they had his face in every cut. It was
And
like
they-
his
yeah.
face is in there like with an O face or coming through the door of the gun, and it was like, oh my god, this is the funny
And they
episode this season. They're doing something
That's
hilarious.
It was great because they just cut back to like an episode that happened in like season 2, 3, or whatever, and it was just like, oh shit, it's like there he is.
Yeah, it's
funny.
like
so
he
funny.
busts in the door instead of somebody else, and like, dude, that's the same episode where you hear, Fox Mulder yell, "I'm Fox friggin' Mulder" at somebody, and it's like, well, that's going to be a funny episode if they're
Yeah.
letting shit like that
Yeah.
fly.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
it's so
really
good.
funny.
And yeah, and they just like they had fun with it. They had an episode that really made me think of like Black Mirror, where it was based on technology, and they did it in a very unique way where there wasn't a lot of dialogue and like just like devices were taking over everything. So I thought that was a fun episode. And then the one that I thought was a really really cool one was they like. Within the old seasons of X-Files, like I said, they would always have a comedic one, they'd have the main storyline one, but then they would do your general, like, here's a weird X-File that's going to get solved within the hour, and it's just like a weird, disturbing story. They had this really fun one. Did you see, I don't know if you saw the episode,
Saw all of
Tony.
them,
Okay,
so-
so the one where it was the people who, like, basically lived off of human blood.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It was creepy.
It was creepy,
like scary, fun. Like it was such a good episode that I'm like, yes, like this entire season just like did a good job of doing that old formula of having just those various type of episodes in a very nice.
Yeah, she was
Case.
like basically a 1960s actress that was holding on to her youth by
Drinking human
drinking
blood.
human blood and consuming human people. It was like that was even like a thing that they brought up was like, is it vampires? Is it this? And it was like
and they brought in religion into it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is a really fun
that was
episode.
that was a
that
fun
perspective.
one, and it wasn't like funny, but it was fun.
A lot of
Yeah.
people like dog on like self-contained episodes and what some people call Monster of the Week episodes, of like
Right.
TV shows. But like, I love that stuff. You
Yeah.
know,
Dude.
Right.
like if I'm watching a like Batman show or something, you know what I mean? It's like I want like the beginning, the middle, the end in that one episode. You know what I mean? It's like people
Yep.
always think like, oh, it's got to move forward. Like, somebody's got to get pregnant or somebody's got to die or
There's got to
whatever.
be a
you know what I mean?
cliffhanger
Yeah,
at the end of
yeah.
every episode. So
Exactly.
you have to wait a week.
But sometimes,
Right, right.
sometimes I like watching just a
No,
story.
I do like
Yeah,
what the
that
one
story happens in
the
that hour,
story
and it's
in-
good.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a show that I watch usually every week, The Blacklist on NBC, where while there's their long running storyline, every episode has the beginning, middle, end for the title storyline.
Yeah, yeah.
Every episode has a title of like a blacklister who's a criminal that they're targeting or whatever.
But there's still the other things
There's
going
still an
on that are
underlying
with
long
the-
range
right.
storyline, but every episode has the name of each episode is the name of the blacklister, and that ends in that episode. So
That's why I'm digging Doctor Who also, is because
Yeah.
you get like some like oh there's zombies in this one in the year 1850, and it's like
it's so good,
and they solve the mystery and then they leave, like
all right, on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and just to like another thing that I'm binging right now, just to give a nice shout out, like one of the things that I do, I've already seen most of his episodes, but if any of you guys have the PBS like app on your Apple TV, or just I know some PBS shows show up in Netflix. Anything by Jeffrey Bear is like awesome, especially if you love Chicago like documentary shit. I've just been binging on like his most recent. He's got like 3 very recent episodes. One is the Chicago River Tour, which I watched the other day. It's freaking great. It's like basically like if you ever done a Chicago River Tour, or if you haven't done one and don't feel like paying the money and you want to watch it like a documentary that's like free to watch and you're basically getting the river tour, watch a Jeffrey Bear's Chicago River Tour episode on PBS. It's just a great hour and a half. You're basically getting a free tour up and down the Chicago River.
Nice.
Right on your TV. So
I might have to download that PBS app.
Honestly, seriously, like that's speaking of like streaming, like because like my main streaming applications are Netflix, Prime, and Hulu. Jump into that PBS streaming app because, well, one, you have all the Downton Abbey episodes, you have all of the Sherlock Holmes episodes, plus you get all the local episodes like Jeffrey Bear. So like, check all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I might
It's
check
really,
that out
really
too.
cool.
Because sometimes I might not be in the mood for The Office at night, so I'll try to find some kind of documentary or true crime or true, just true stories or true documentary type stuff.
True.
Like,
They have,
true.
yeah.
I'm going to say true a lot.
Yeah, the
I
Chicago
like
River
to
Tour
watch
one he
false
does.
stuff,
Yeah,
Right.
and his
True stuff just hits too close to home for JT. And
the Chicago River is green
Yeah.
because there's leprechauns drowned in it.
and Oompa Loompa.
I not that
Well,
long
they were
ago
orange. It turned orange.
binged a couple seasons of Hunting Hitler on History Channel.
Oh, how was that?
It's fantastic. I enjoyed it. Where they basically were on the hunt to try to discover if Hitler did actually escape Nazi Germany and end up in South America.
Oh, I heard about that.
It was a pretty great show. Dick was watching it, and I was like, "Oh, I'll check it out." So I binged the first 2 seasons in time for the 3rd season.
Nice.
I just realized feel like Tony now. God, I watch everything, and I binge a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, he's sipping margaritas with Tupac and the Second Shooter.
Well, there's just there's
Elvis.
so many platforms now to watch stuff on. There's so much content that no one's ever gonna be able to watch everything. But
Right.
it's also very easy to get sucked into a binge where we just started watching something. She's like, "Hey, some people at work were talking about this show on Netflix called 7 Seconds." So we watched the first 2 episodes, and it's like, dude, it's good. It's good acting. The writing seems alright. It's probably something we're gonna fall into.
You're one of
But,
the pioneers of hardcore.
What's that?
7 seconds.
So that's the first thing I thought when the title actually came up. I was like, 7 seconds, Kevin Seconds. What's happening here?
They broke up.
Yeah,
All right, keep going. Sorry.
it happens. No, but there's so many platforms. There's your Netflixes. There's your Hulu. What's the other ones that you got? There's
Amazon
Prime
Prime,
now, which is coming out with some really good stuff.
And then there's catching up or rewatching shows or watching shows
Yeah,
for the
there's
first time.
there's
I have
network
to
stuff
watch.
that you miss, and now you're watching all of them. You know what I mean?
What is
it?
There's so much stuff.
How many
and so
seasons?
much content.
How many seasons are there? Or is it Westworld? Is it?
Is it only 1 or is it 2? I think the second or third's coming out. I think that was the
And I
the
just
first
keep
season.
hearing about watching that, so I'm about to dive into that and binge that.
Your HBOs, your Cinemax, your Showtimes. There's really good shows on all of them, and it's so hard to keep
And
up
there's
with all
apps
that.
for all of these now too,
Yeah.
or on demand if for cable, that has all of these shows available.
There's some great shows that never got noticed enough, and then died off after a season or 2. You know what I mean? There's that stuff.
And those are out there on Netflix too to watch.
The
and binge.
Spectacular Spider-Man being one if you're into superhero shit, and remember Dead Like Me? Anybody on
That
Showtime?
rings a bell.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember.
That was a great show. Then that just kind of fizzled.
What was it about? Why does that ring a bell?
It was about Grim Reapers. It was this girl who's kind of kind of a Daria type, like with her personality and stuff, a little sarcastic and shit. But it was like she died and became a Grim Reaper, so it's like her.
You're right. I sort of remember that now.
She's like kind of alive but not, almost like a ghost but not, and she it's like her job to make other people die. I don't know. Like she walks around, it's like Grim Reaper's like a business or something.
It's on the Showtime.
It was good though. It was funny.
I'm probably gonna end up binging 7 Seconds. That's on my queue.
Well, let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
Sergio mentioned one earlier that I recently binged because I never watched it before. Is Black Mirror.
That's
I
great.
recently binged that and Alter Carbon on Netflix.
I have to watch Alter Carbon.
That's
Alter
pretty
Carbon's
great.
good.
And Mindhunter.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Mindhunter.
That's a good.
I've already binged all these. That's what I mean. Like, do I watch too much shit? Like,
you did.
I got one more that I
too.
can't recommend enough. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right, it's Ash vs. Evil Dead.
oh yeah,
So great.
Really?
Dude.
I haven't watched them.
I haven't
Oh, yeah.
watched it.
It's great.
Dick watches it. I
It's
have not
great.
watched it. I'm gonna probably have to do that.
it's
what's
like
great
I
is
always
it's
wanted a
not-
sequel for Army of Darkness, but I'm more than okay with what they ended up
This
doing.
is good.
Yeah.
As good as it gets. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like every episode's a half an hour, not an hour. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it's a straight half an hour. It's not 23
Right.
minutes because it's on Star, so there's no commercials. But so it's like a half hour of just straight up good the whole time. There's like no what me and cousin Kevin call like in the Marvel shows on Netflix. We call them sitting on the bench and talking scenes. Of which there's like maybe 5 hours of in Jessica Jones and Daredevil and stuff. But it's like there's none of that in that show. There's no people sitting around talking. It's like it picks up fast, it goes fast, and somebody's getting decapitated
Yeah.
or some face is exploding in every episode, and you're gonna get some disgusting scenery and one-liners from Ash and stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
Nice.
great.
All right, well, I think that's it for what we're binging. I know we could probably talk for hours about
Right.
Yeah.
binging, but
Yep.
But we won't.
we won't. It's about time to wrap it up, guys. I guess cheers.
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 Bill, we missed you on our binge watching episode here. Tony, you wanna take us out, pal?
Just want to say that I missed the Bill Miller, and this is KAR. Are you ready to binge some stuff with us, America? Coming at you from all the different platforms. Have a good night. Chicka chicka bow wow now, how? What?
All right, kids, that's going to do it for episode 12 of 2 Drink Minimum Binge-Worthy Shows. Did you agree with some of ours? Did you disagree? I tell you something. I was a little upset that it wasn't there, but I was definitely there in spirit. And for the record, my favorite binge-worthy show currently is Peaky Blinders. And it's not because of the acting, the cinematography, or the writing. It's because that show teaches us, above all, that people in the 1920s died of either emphysema or liver disease. It's a great show. If you have a chance, give it a go. You know where you can reach out to us, podcast@kickerrock.com. If you want to email us, that's podcast@kickerrock.com. Like us on Facebook, comment to us on Facebook, or comment directly on our iTunes feed. Thank you so much for listening. We've been drinking, thinking, and talking shop. Cheers, everybody.